Yeah, in the previous session we have understood what a research problem is and how the research problem will be formulated. On the basis of that, how the hypothesis will be formulated with the help of a problem identification process. Now let's move on to the next concept of research problem, that is understanding the various elements of a research problem. What a research problem consists of, or what it comprises of, in the form of a heading of components of a research problem. What all are the various elements of a research problem or components of a research problem? When we talk about a research problem it comprises of two components. One is the unit of study or unit of analysis. Unit of analysis is nothing but first the researcher will specify in the problem statement the individuals from whom the information is gathered. They are called as the unit of study or unit of analysis. In other words, they are also called as the sampling unit or unit of the research. The people from whom the information will be gathered is called as a unit of the research or unit of the study. Researcher must clearly specify in the problem statement the individuals from whom the research information is to be collected and on whom the research studies are, the results are applicable, for whom the studies are applicable. Like for example, you take of declining sales. The problem faced by the organization is declining sales. So for this research will be conducted and the researcher must clearly specify in the problem statement what information we have to gather and from whom we have to gather this information. The researcher may say that in order to understand the reason behind declining sales, we have to interact with the experts, that is one unit of the study, or else the researcher must interact with customers through qualitative research, that is second unit of the study. The actual customers who are using the product must be surveyed, they constitute the second unit of the study. Or else if you are interested in knowing the customer satisfaction towards a brand of coffee in Mysuru city, then the unit of study will be all the people who are using coffee, that particular brand of coffee, brew coffee will be studied. They form unit of the study. And unit can also be the people on whom the research results are applicable. You know, when we are conducting a study to know the reasons behind declining sales, then such a study will be helpful to the organization who will be framing various marketing strategies. So we should specify clearly for whom the results are applicable and from whom the information will be gathered. These two components will constitute the unit of analysis. So this could be the entire organization or a specific department or a group of people, team of members or individuals. Anything can be the unit of the organization. In clear terms, simple terms, I am telling you, unit is nothing but the researcher must clearly specify the problem statement from whom the information is to be gathered and to whom the research results are applicable, for whom the research results are useful. That should be specified very clearly. For example, one more example I will give you. Like if a research study is carried out to know the satisfaction level of students towards VTU's curriculum. If such a study is carried out, then the sampling unit could be all the students of VTU who are pursuing the PG program or UG program, because we will be interested in extracting information about the curriculum from those people only. So that is one thing. Or else the university professors or the teachers who are teaching the VTU students can also be the unit for the study, because we are studying from student perspective and from the teacher perspective about the curriculum, whether the people are not happy with the curriculum or not. From student perspective, information is gathered from the student, and from teacher's perspective, information is gathered from the teachers. So they form they constitute the unit of the study. Second component is, this is a very important component of the research problem. Research problem must clearly specify the variables under study. The research problem also requires identification of the key variables under study. when we talk about research variables, they are classified into different types. Before discussing the classification of research variables, let me talk in brief about what a variable is. A variable is any concept that varies and we can assign either numbers or values to the variable. Like when you take example of declining sales. Sales is one variable which we are interested in, which we want to study. Sales of the company's product is a variable. Some value is assigned to it, like in terms of volume, these many units are sold. In terms of area, this is the area which is covered by this particular company. So in that way, we have to specify clearly what is a variable of my study clearly. Variable could be dichotomous in nature. It may be dichotomous in nature, that is, it can possess only two values such as male and female. If you are collecting information from the customers, so gender is one variable. You are collecting gender related information. Male customers, female customers. If you are collecting income information and you are categorizing the income group into 4 categories, people who have income below 10,000, 10,000 to 25,000, 25,000 to 50, 50 and above. If you are categorizing it into 4 things, then we can say that you are classifying the variable into categories which are continuous variables. So that is one thing. If you are putting the data in the form of a range, then that data is called as categorical data. Sometimes even information is extracted in the form of a scale, measurement scale, attitude scale. Like if you are interested in studying satisfaction level towards a particular product, how satisfied are you with Brook Bond tea powder? If you are using a scale, Likert scale of 5 point, very satisfied to very much dissatisfied, a 5-point rating scale, then that is also a continuous categorical information. Sometimes variables will also possess indefinite set, like what is your age, what is your income, what is the production data of an organization. You are collecting the information in the form of a indefinite set. Like age will vary from one respondent to the other respondent. It is not definite, it will vary from person to person. So such information is extracted also in that form. So this is all about the background of the variable. Now we will talk about what all are the different variables under the study. Variables can be classified into 3 categories actually. Of course there are 4, but we can normally state as 3 categories depending upon the role they play in the problem under consideration. One is independent variable. Any variable that can be stated as influencing or impacting the dependent variable is referred to as independent variable. So in general terms I can say there are 3 variables. One is independent variable, dependent variable and extraneous variable. Independent variable is the variable which influences the dependent variable, which impacts the dependent variable. The dependent variable is dependent upon the independent variable and hence it is called as independent variable. Any variable that can be stated as influencing or impacting the dependent variable is referred to as independent variable. Like for example, if you specify in your objective that we want to know the reasons behind declining sales because of demographic factors. Like whether sales are declining because of the demographic factors. It could be age of the respondent, income of the respondent, occupation of the respondent, profession of the respondent. What all are this? These all are the independent variables. You are studying impact of these independent variables on the dependent variable, that is sales. So in any research study, we come across 3 different type of variables. One is independent variable, the variable which is stated as influencing or impacting the dependent variable. Such variable is referred to as independent variable, and the notation, it is denoted by the letter IV, independent variable. And the purpose of research study is to establish relationship between independent variable and dependent variable, because we are interested in knowing whether demographic factors will impact the sales of a company's product or not. you are studying impact of independent variables on the dependent variable, or advertising is leading to more sales or not. If you are studying the association between these two things, advertising is independent variable and sales is the dependent variable. Or else if you are interested in studying the satisfaction level of students in an university, whether students are satisfied or not, what is leading them to satisfaction, whether it is the teaching pedagogy or the quality of teachers or curriculum or infrastructure, etc. What all are this? These all are the various independent variables. Now coming to dependent variable. Dependent variable is the outcome variable or the effect variable. In any research, we are studying the outcome of a particular concept. That is nothing but the dependent variable. The most important variable which is to be studied and analyzed in research study is the effect variable, which is also called as dependent variable, DV, dependent variable. It could be satisfaction, or it could be happiness, or it could be liking of the product, or it could be sales of the product, or it could be profit of the product. All these are what? The dependent variables. If you are studying, as the example, the reasons behind declining sales, then sales is the dependent variable. There are many factors which are leading to declining sales: quality, availability, price, income, occupation, etc. Competition, competitor product. These all are what? These all are the independent variables. And the main dependent variable, the variable which is under study, is called as outcome variable or effect variable or dependent variable. The entire research process is involved in either describing this variable or investigating the probable causes of the observed effect. So that is nothing but the dependent variable. Apart from the independent and dependent variable, there is one more variable which is called as extraneous variable. Besides independent variables, there might be some other variables, independent variables, which may hamper the results of the research study, which the researcher do not want. Such a variable is called as extraneous variable or blocking variable or unwanted variable. Like for example, if the researcher is interested in knowing the effect of advertising on sales of a company's product, he just want to know whether the advertising is affecting the sales or not. In a controlled setup, the study will be carried out. People will be called to the laboratory and they will be shown the advertisement, and after that they will be asked whether you like the advertisement, whether you are buying the product because of becoming aware through this advertisement, or whether this advertisement has made you to go and buy the product. So in that way the study will be carried out. But apart from advertising, there are some other factors also, like it could be the competitor's product, or it could be the income. All of a sudden the family income may come down, or the person's income may come down, or he may quit the job. Because of that, he may not buy the product. So advertising is not just one factor which is influencing the purchase of a particular product. There might be some other reasons. It could be the mood of a person, or it could be the income of a person, it could be the competitor moves, or other competitor products may come up, and even though the customer is happy with the advertisement, he may not buy the product because of attractive competitor product. So what all are this? These all are other external independent variables which may hamper the results of the research study. Such variables are called as extraneous variables. So this would most often account for chance variations observed in the research investigation. When the research investigation is carried out by chance, the research results are hampered by these external variables, and always researchers, they want to have control on these variables. So that is what called as extraneous variable. They are also called as blocking variables. The variables which may interrupt the results of the research are called as extraneous variables. And you know, sometimes researchers, they will go for identifying control groups. The effect of this substantial or variable can be minimized by using a control group. In a controlled setup, experimentation or the research study will be carried out by not having much influence of those extraneous variables on the research. In such a setup, in a controlled environment, the study will be carried out. But in social sciences, it is very difficult to control these extraneous variables. So this is all about the different variables under the study. Thank you.